Do you love zipper pouches but hate the idea of installing zippers? If so, then I have the perfect project for you. And it's so easy, you'll want to make a dozen. Hi, I'm Amy and I make things. And today I'm making the easiest zipper pouch ever, I promise. Come on, let me show you. I've made a lot of zipper pouches in my day, from fully lined using the zipper tabs and the works. And the truth is, they're fiddly. And sometimes they're difficult to get a clean, neat finish without lots of time and care. I've watched many tutorials and improved my techniques along the way. But last month I had the idea to combine bits and pieces and several techniques from lots of those videos. And I came up with what I believe is the easiest zipper pouch ever. No pinning, no tabs, no hand stitching the lining closed, no muss, no fuss, easy. First of all, let's gather our materials. And as usual, I'll link everything that I can in the description below and in the pinned comment at the top of the comments section. First thing we need is cute fabric. One for the outer part of the zipper pouch and one for the lining. I'm starting with a 9-inch square, but you can make this in any size. If you have extra layer cake squares laying around, that's a great use for them. Orphan blocks, great use for those. Next you need a nylon zipper. Okay, you want a nylon or plastic zipper in 12 or 14 inches. We're gonna be sewing over it, so no metal. Then you need elastic, all right? You need elastic. I'm using this fold over elastic because it comes in a zillion colors and it's super easy to find. But whatever elastic you have. Next, you'll need Heat and Bond Ultra Hold. And this is really the key to the whole thing. This Ultra Hold fusible adhesive. You'll need a few clips. You'll need utility scissors and some pinking shears. You might want some blue painter's tape. It is very helpful. Not completely necessary, but very helpful. And you will also need a point turner. Now, I use this one from Clover, but you know, a chopstick from the Asian takeout will work just fine as well. And you'll need a marking pen or a chalk pen, something that you can mark your zipper with. And you'll want a size 90 or 100 needle. These are leather needles, but a denim needle or just a 90 or 100 needle for your sewing machine works great. A non-stick needle works even better, but is not absolutely necessary unless you want to make quite a few. Then I do recommend a non-stick needle. So, you've got your materials. Let's go make it. Okay, I have 9-inch squares of fabric, and so I'm going to cut 9-inch squares of the Heat and Bond Ultra, which is the fusible web. It is very thick, it is super secure, and that is the key to this project. Let me go ahead and cut that. That's trash. Okay, so now I have two 9-inch squares of fabric, and I'm going to go fuse my fabrics together. I have this, it's called a goddess sheet. It's just Teflon non-stick pressing sheet, right? And I'm going to use this because it is nearly impossible to get this exactly right. Okay, so I'm going to lay this on here, and this way none of my icky sticky stuff will get on my iron. Just going to fuse as you do per the package instructions. Usually I have steam in my iron. This time I do not. Doesn't really matter if you do. It's just a little easier if you don't. Okay. Oh, there is a little steam in there. Look at there. Okay, whatever. So this I'm going to let cool. That's the trick to being able to release it easily. And it doesn't matter if you put the fusible on the lining or the right side or the pretty outside. outside fabric because they're going to get fused together. So it doesn't really matter. Once this has cooled, you can peel the whole thing off. And see, now this is super shiny. That means the fusible is attached, adhered to the fabric. Now you line these up, as best you can. Doesn't have to be super exact, but what I'm going to do is I'm then going to take this release sheet and put the shiny release side down. I don't know if you can see that, over my edges. That way, my iron won't get disgusting. And the Teflon sheet is protecting my table. Anything that oozes out, anywhere I've misaligned, it all gets stuck on this plastic bit. And you want to get a nice, secure bond. All right, that's the key to this project. Now I'm going to flip it and press it one time, just gently for a few seconds on the other side. Just to be sure, because the key to this easy zipper project is this fused fabric. Okay, so now my fabric is fused, front, back, solid, hot. Oh, one note about fusing your fabrics. If you have directional fabric on one side, like I do, not an issue. If you have directional fabric on the outside and the inside, make sure they're both aligned the way you want them to be. Otherwise, you can have foxes on the outside this way and foxes on the inside this way. Just be careful. All right, now, as you can see, I don't have a really clean edge right here, which is no problem. I'm going to go trim this 9-inch square down to 8 by 8. And the reason I'm doing that instead of just starting with an 8 by 8 square is because it's really hard to get this exactly even, and you need a nice clean finished edge for this to work. So I'm going to go trim it up. Okay, now I'm going to trim up my square with my Stripology ruler, and I'm going to center it, and I'm going to judge and cut at the 0 and the 8 line. Then I'm going to flip it and do the same thing on the other side. Then I have a perfect 8 by 8 square with clean sealed edges. These clean sealed edges are the key. Now let's go put in a zipper. Okay, now we're going to put in the zipper. This is the easiest zipper ever because there's no finishing and you don't need a zipper foot. You just need your regular presser foot, super easy, not your 1/4 inch foot, but your regular presser foot. Now I have a zipper here, and this one has a stop on it, so I'm not worried about opening it all the way up and losing my zipper tab. If you are using zipper tape or this side doesn't have a stop, like this side doesn't have a stop, you can wrap a piece of painter's tape around it just so you don't have to go through the hassle of rethreading that zipper. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the zipper. All right, here is where directional fabric matters again. I want my zipper to open right side up like this with the cats. So I'm going to put my zipper face down, and I'm going to sort of center it, right, face down on my fabric. And then I'm going to take, because this is a dark zipper, I'm going to take this white ceramic pencil and I'm going to mark the edges of that. Mark the edges of that zipper on both sides. This way, I don't have to worry about it being misaligned. It will be aligned. Now I can take and open up the zipper and work with it the easy way. So, well, I will change my thread. I don't normally change my thread on this machine because I piece with the same color all the time. So I just leave it. But for this, because we will be top stitching, I will change the thread because it makes it pretty. I have that size 100 needle in here that I spoke about. Oh, and this is going to fold and go this way. So I want my zipper to be along, because this is directional, it matters. I'm going to put my zipper aligned with the cats, right? So they're like right side up. I didn't change my bobbin thread because I'm always going to be working from the top. I'm going to line this up. If you want to put a clip here, you can. I don't. And I use the edge of my presser foot because it's a rather narrow presser foot. I use the edge of my presser foot as my guide. I've got my stitch length set at about 2.1, you know, ish, whatever. It's not really critical. And then I sew. Again, my zipper is face down on the right side outside of my pouch. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this thread because it's in my way. Now I am going to fold. You don't even have to iron it. I'm going to fold this edge back like this, right? And just sort of pull it. Because this is stiff from that fusible in there, it creases very nicely. I'm going to fold that back, flip that zipper tape under. I am using the inside edge of my presser foot, and it will ride right along this raised edge. I'm using that to keep my top stitching aligned. Super easy. You don't have to mark anything. You can just use your equipment as your guide. Now I will pull this thread to the back. So now I will just, like I said, pull that thread to the back. I will just flip, make sure my zipper tape is flipped under, and I will just let this ridge ride along the inside edge of my presser foot and top stitch. When I get about halfway down, I'm going to fold the rest of it and make sure it's nice and flat. And that's it. That's the finished top stitched edge. And then inside, it looks like this. No raw edge. No having to fiddle with lining or sew and sew and sew. That's it. Now, I'm going to take my zipper. I'm going to lay it up here like it's closed. And I'm going to flip it, the whole piece like this. And I'm going to align, and here's where a clip actually is handy because this wants to pull your zipper out of place a little bit. I'm going to line where I marked. I don't know, I don't think you can see my mark on the camera, but I marked my zipper with that white ceramic pencil, and then I'm just going to put the clips on like that and repeat the process. Do make sure your zipper tape is flipped all the way under. And the reason you want that size 100 needle is because technically this Heat and Bond Ultra is not designed to be sewn through. So you need that sturdy needle to get through this thick, sticky stuff. So I'm going to turn it like this to where the foxes. Guys, they're foxes. I know they're foxes. I've been saying cats this whole time. I know they're foxes. All right, I'm going to zip my zipper most of the way up. I'm going to make a crease, fold it in half with the zipper, and I'm going to make just a crease. You can clip a little notch right there if you want to mark it. I'll show you just the tiniest little, just nick the corner of it, just a tiny bit. So you see you have that little mark, right? And then on this one, same deal, just barely nick that little corner so that you have a mark without having to pin, without having to use a marking tool on your fabric. Now, magic. I have this fold over elastic. It is super cute. It is super easy to find. I will link it down below. So I'm going to cut about 10 inches of elastic, 10 and a half maybe. I find this length works well for both the like A5 standard journal or for a composition book because this is very stretchy. All right, if you have a smaller journal or one of those thin flat journals that you're making these for, shorten up your elastic. Just test it and see what you need. Now is where my handy blue painter's tape comes in, because I'm gonna be sewing this a little bit blind. Don't panic, I know I said blind, but it is easy. So, sewing it a little bit blind. So what I'm gonna do is, well, I will open the zipper back up so you can see. I'm going to take I want the shiny side of my elastic on the outside, so I'm going to put it face up. And I am going to overlap it. Oh, can we get in there? I'm going to leave it sticking out the edge about that much, right? Then I'm going to tape about right there, right here, about 2 inches inside. I'm going to just tape that down, all right? That way it'll hold it. You don't want to pin through this because it will leave a hole. So I'm just going to tape that. I'm going to put any loose part of the elastic to the center like this. Stick this end out over the edge just a little. Take my painter's tape and secure that. And this won't leave a mark on your fabric. Secure that right there, okay? Like I say, you don't want to pin through this because it'll leave a hole. Now I'm going to zip it most of the way closed, but you got to leave a little bit open. Okay? Now, I'm going to line the center of my zipper, that elastic, and that little notch up. And then I'm going to clip it. I'm going to clip it right here, really close to the zipper, so that nothing moves. Like I say, you don't want to pin because holes. All right, now on this end, it's a little fiddly because this zipper is open and it wants to flex, but you just lay it flat, right beside each other. Don't overlap, right? And clip. One side, then the other side. Now, I am going to sew from this side because it's easier than catching. My presser foot won't catch on the zipper tape stuff, so I'm going to put it on the bottom. And I am going to sew with a little better than 1/4 of an inch, a little deeper than 1/4 of an inch seam. Now, this is the open side. So I'm going to hold it nice and tight. Let me zoom in. All right, I'm going to hold it nice and tight right here. And then I'm going to secure my thread. I'm going to reverse right at the beginning. I'm going to sew across the zipper, reverse back across, across again, and then reverse just a little bit at this end. All right, this is your stress point, so you want to make sure that that is extremely secure. And I don't seem to be centered quite right here. There we go. So if you're not centered, just readjust. You can see that very easily from this side. Make sure your elastic is centered. All right, so I am going to sew, reverse, come across the zipper, reverse back across the zipper, sew to the end, and reverse at that corner. All right, and, wow, cut my threads. And then do it all again on the other side. Make sure you are centered on your zipper line. Your elastic is centered. And do it all again. And like I say, I'm just over 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. All right, so here's what you have now, right? And you have this little hole so you can get it back inside. Before you flip it, here's where your pinking shears come in. All right, well, actually, your utility scissors, use those to go ahead and trim your zipper. Yep, just cut it right off. You want to cross it 3 times, it's nice and secure, just cut it right off. I'm trimming the elastic while I go because I can. Now this goes in my waste can. I don't like to put that in the doggy bed collection. Now you take your pinking shears and you're just going to trim the zipper and all. I tend to curve out a little bit around that zipper so it leaves a little more length right there. Trim that end with your pinking shears. Trim the other end. Like I say, I tend to sort of cut in a little bit of a curve. It leaves more at the zipper. It is a little tough, but it's not impossible. All right, so you see how there's a little bit of a curve to that this way, and that way my corners are tight, but I've got a lot of leftover at the zipper so that it's just secure. Now I'm going to trim my threads because we want it to be neat. Unzip. You just push this from this end and flip. It is stiff. Because of that heavy fusible, it is stiff. So take your time, protect your stitches, protect your hands, flip it, remove your painter's tape. All right, you flip it and just zhuzh it. Take your little point turner or your chopstick, and after you poke out these corners, take your little point turner and make sure you get them really, really out there. This has got all that fusible in it, and it is very stiff. That's part of the beauty of the project, is that you get this nice sturdy zipper bag for pens and pencils and whatnot. All right, so poke out your corners. Just take your time, make sure they're nice and square. And then you have your little zip bag. Nice finish. Now what I do is I will take and I will just manhandle it a little bit. And I will take and I will steam the edges and hold them down. And that will reactivate a little bit of that fusible, and then when it cools, it will be fixed in place. You don't want to hit your iron with the zipper. What did I say? You don't want to hit your zipper with the iron too much, so I just sort of hold it up and steam, and then press with my hands, making sure it's zipped all the way up. Press with my hands, and then I do hit the edges like this, up to here, up to the zipper. Careful of your fold over elastic too, because it can melt. So you just give it a quick little steam, and there you go. Super easy. Could not be easier. I'm gonna go make a dozen more. Okay, quick tip. If you want tabs instead of the elastic, if you want it to be a standalone, you just take a piece of twill tape, however long. This is about 4 inches, I'd say. Fold it in half. Again, I've got my little notch right here. I'm going to stick it out over the edge so that it's nice and secure. And then just tape that down the same as you would the elastic. And I'm going to line it up on the other side about the same way. Tape that down nice and secure. And then I will proceed the same way. Fold, center, clip, same. All right? See, I told you it was easy. I'm having a great time making these for everyone I know. I even ordered more fun, colorful zippers. You can pair them with a journal or a covered composition book and look for a how-to on this coming soon. And if you're watching after December, check the description box for a link. You can use grosgrain ribbon or twill tape and make tabs instead of using the elastic. They are fun in all sorts of fabrics and for any age and any gender, so go give it a try. Also, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. And YouTube thinks you'll like this video as well. I hope you make one. I mean, I hope you make a dozen. Mostly, I hope that you never forget that you make the world more beautiful just by being in it. I'm Amy, and I'll see you next time.